Picture this. You walk into a room and within seconds, 3 different people ask you what you're wearing. Sound impossible? Well, that's exactly what happened to me last month at a coffee shop. And the culprit? A blue fragrance that cost me less than $40. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Jesse and I'm glad you clicked on this video, where we dive deep into the scents that actually matter. Today, we're cracking the code on blue fragrances, those fresh magnetic scents that seem to have an almost supernatural power over people. Now, here's the thing about blue fragrances. Everyone thinks they know them, but most people are wearing the wrong ones. See, the fragrance industry has flooded the market with so many blue scents that finding the truly obsession-worthy ones is like finding a needle in a haystack. But don't worry, I've done the dirty work for you. In the next 15 minutes, I'm going to reveal 7 blue fragrances that people literally cannot stop talking about. We've got everything from a $22 giant killer to a $200 niche masterpiece. And yes, I'll tell you about the clones that might actually be better than the originals. Trust me, that last part is going to blow your mind. But first, let me tell you about the fragrance that started this whole obsession. 3 years ago, I walked into a fragrance store completely broke. I mean, literally had 40 bucks to my name, broke. The sales guy probably saw me coming from a mile away. Young, clueless, and clearly on a budget. But instead of dismissing me, he handed me a bottle I'd never heard of. Ferragamo Uomo Urban Feel. One spray changed everything. This fragrance opens with an incredible ozonic blast that literally feels like breathing in ocean air on a perfect summer morning. You get bright bergamot hitting you first, but it's not sharp or aggressive. It's smooth, almost creamy. Then, about 10 minutes in, something magical happens. This beautiful ambroxan note starts blooming from underneath, giving the whole thing this addictive, musky sweetness. Here's what makes Urban feel special. It has this airy, almost weightless quality that most blue fragrances completely miss. While other blues feel heavy or synthetic, this one feels like it's floating around you. The performance? Absolutely solid. I'm talking 6 to 7 hours of real projection. Then it sits close to your skin for another 4 hours. At $35 to $40 for a full 100 milliliters, this is what I call a no-brainer purchase. It's casual enough for your daily coffee run, but sophisticated enough that you won't feel underdressed anywhere. And here's the kicker. I've never met anyone who didn't like this fragrance, not once. But that affordable price tag made me wonder, could you really get quality at the mid-range level? That question led me to my next discovery. I'll be honest with you. When L'Homme Le Parfum first launched, I completely ignored it. The bottle looked boring, the notes seemed basic, and I thought YSL was just trying to cash in on the blue fragrance trend. I was so wrong, it's embarrassing. My friend Marcus wore this to a wedding last summer, and I spent the entire reception trying to figure out what he had on. It was familiar, yet completely unique at the same time. When he finally told me, I literally ordered a bottle that night. L'Homme Le Parfum is what happens when you take the sophisticated apple ginger DNA of the original L'Homme and inject it with modern blue fragrance energy. You get this incredible opening of crisp apple and bergamot, but there's this ozonic quality floating on top that makes it feel fresh and contemporary. The magic happens in the heart, where geranium adds this subtle green touch that prevents it from smelling generic. Then the amberwood comes in during the dry down, giving it this warm, almost skin-like finish that's absolutely addictive. Performance-wise, this is a beast. 8 hours of solid projection, and I've had people compliment me the next day when they could still detect it on my clothes. At $80 to $90, it's definitely an investment, but here's the thing. This is one of those fragrances that gets better every time you wear it. It's versatile enough for the office, but sophisticated enough for date night. Honestly, if you could only own one blue fragrance, this might be it. Speaking of versatility, there's one fragrance that's taken the entire fragrance community by storm, and it costs less than your lunch. Okay, I'm not going to beat around the bush here. We're talking about Rasasi Hawas, one of the most controversial fragrances in the community right now. Some people call it a masterpiece, others call it overhyped. But here's what I know for sure. At $22, it's currently the best deal in fragrances, period. I discovered Hawas through pure accident. I was placing an order for something completely different when I saw the price drop notification. 22 bucks? For something that usually sells for 40? I figured I would throw it in the cart to see what the fuss was about. 3 bottles later, I'm convinced Hawas might be the best summer fragrance ever created for the price. Hawas opens with this incredible plum and bergamot combination that immediately grabs your attention. But it's not sweet or fruity in an obvious way. There's this aquatic quality running underneath everything that makes it feel crisp and refreshing. Apple comes in during the heart, adding this juicy freshness that screams summer vibes. The ambroxan in the base gives it that modern blue fragrance signature, but it's blended so well that it never feels synthetic or harsh. Performance is surprisingly good for the price. Solid 4 to 5 hours of projection with decent longevity. Now, I'll be real with you. Hawas is definitely aimed at a younger crowd, and it's super casual. You're not wearing this to a business meeting. But for summer days, beach trips, or just hanging out, this is absolutely perfect. And here's the crazy part. I've seen bottles of Hawas selling for $10 or $15 online. Don't fall for it. Those are fakes. Stick to legitimate retailers, and even at $22, you're getting incredible value. But what if you want something more mature, more refined? That's where our next fragrance comes in. Cool Water is legendary. I mean, we all know the original. That iconic fresh fougere that defined the 90s. But when Davidoff announced Cool Water Parfum, I was skeptical. How do you improve on a classic without ruining it? I picked up a bottle during a random shopping trip, expecting to be disappointed. Instead, I discovered what might be the perfect evolution of the original formula. Cool Water Parfum takes everything we loved about the original and gives it a modern, sophisticated twist. The opening still has that classic citrus freshness, but there's more depth here. Pink pepper adds this subtle spiciness that wasn't in the original, and the whole thing feels more refined. But the real magic happens in the heart and base. Where the original was all about that marine freshness, the Parfum adds serious wood notes. We're talking vetiver and amberwood that give it this mature, almost cologne-like sophistication. The performance is significantly better than the original too. You're looking at 6 to 7 hours of good projection, which is impressive for something that still maintains that fresh character. At around $40, it's positioned perfectly between the budget options and the more expensive stuff. It's mature enough for the office, sophisticated enough for dinner dates, but still fresh enough for casual wear. This is what I reach for when I want something blue but don't want to smell like every other guy wearing the popular stuff. Speaking of standing out from the crowd, let me tell you about a niche fragrance that costs more than my first car payment. $200 for a fragrance. That's what I paid for Parfums de Marly Sedley. And honestly, I questioned my life choices for about a week afterward. But sometimes, you need to experience what true luxury smells like to understand why people become obsessed. I first smelled Sedley at a high-end department store while killing time before a movie. The sales associate sprayed it on a test strip, and I literally stopped mid-conversation. This wasn't just another blue fragrance, this was art in a bottle. Sedley opens with this incredible mint and bergamot combination that's immediately recognizable but somehow completely unique. The mint isn't toothpastey or harsh, it's sophisticated, almost herbal. Combined with the bright citrus, it creates this incredibly fresh opening that demands attention. But here's where Sedley separates itself from every other blue fragrance. The geranium in the heart adds this subtle green, almost earthy quality that prevents it from smelling synthetic. Then the ambroxan comes in, but it's blended so masterfully that it enhances rather than dominates. Performance, this is nuclear. 10 plus hours of projection, and I've had people ask me what I was wearing the next day. The sillage is incredible. You'll fill a room without trying. At $200 and up, this is definitely an investment piece. But if you want to understand what separates niche from designer, Sedley is your education in a bottle. Now, before you start calculating how many meals you'd have to skip to afford Sedley, let me tell you about a clone that might actually be better. Here's where things get interesting. What if I told you that you could get 90% of the Sedley experience for $40? You'd probably call me crazy. Well, get ready to have your mind blown. Latafa Maher Legacy came on my radar through the clone community, and I'll admit I was skeptical. How could a $40 fragrance possibly compete with a $200 niche masterpiece? I blindly bought it during a sale, and when it arrived, I did a side-by-side comparison with my Sedley. The results were unsettling. Maher Legacy opens with the same mint and citrus combination, and for the first 30 minutes, they're virtually identical. The projection is massive, arguably even stronger than the original. The mint is perfectly balanced, the citrus is bright and fresh, and that green quality that makes Sedley special, it's all there. Where it differs is in the longevity and complexity. Sedley has this incredible evolution throughout the day, revealing new facets every few hours. Maher Legacy is more linear. What you smell in the first hour is pretty much what you get. But here's the thing, what you get is absolutely fantastic. For $40, this might be the best clone ever created. The performance is actually better than the original in terms of projection and sillage. If you're not obsessed with having the original, or if you want to experience this scent profile without the massive investment, Maher Legacy is the obvious choice. But clones aren't just for niche fragrances. Sometimes they can make luxury classics accessible to everyone. Bleu de Chanel. Two words that make fragrance enthusiasts both excited and broke. It's arguably the most popular blue fragrance ever created, but at over $100, it's not exactly accessible to everyone. Enter Armaf Club de Nuit Iconic. I discovered this one during my early fragrance journey when I desperately wanted to smell like I could afford Bleu de Chanel, but definitely couldn't. A fellow fragrance enthusiast recommended Iconic, claiming it was scary close to the original. He wasn't lying. Iconic opens with that signature grapefruit and bergamot combination that made Bleu de Chanel famous. The citrus is bright and sophisticated, with just enough edge to grab attention. Then the woody notes come in, cedar and sandalwood that give it that expensive cologne-like quality. The incense in the base is what really sells the illusion. It adds this subtle smokiness that elevates the entire composition and makes it feel much more expensive than it actually is. Performance-wise, Iconic might actually be stronger than the original. You're looking at 8 to 10 hours of solid performance, with projection that borders on beast mode for the first few hours. At around $40, this is what I recommend to anyone who wants that Bleu de Chanel vibe without the premium price tag. It's sophisticated enough for formal occasions, versatile enough for daily wear, and strong enough to last through anything you throw at it. Now, after testing all these fragrances, you're probably wondering which one you should actually buy. Here's the thing about blue fragrances. They're not all created equal, and what works for one person might be completely wrong for another. So let me break this down for you. If you're just starting your fragrance journey and want something versatile and affordable, Ferragamo Urban Feel is your best bet. It's safe, it performs well, and it won't break the bank. For those ready to invest in something more sophisticated, YSL L'Homme Le Parfum offers incredible versatility and performance. It's the one I'd choose if I could only own one blue fragrance. Rasasi Hawas is perfect if you want something specifically for warm weather and casual occasions. Don't overthink it. At that price, just buy it. Cool Water Parfum is ideal for the mature gentleman who wants something fresh but refined. It's different enough to stand out but familiar enough to be comfortable. If money isn't an object and you want the absolute best, Sedley is unmatched in terms of quality and uniqueness. But be prepared to pay for the privilege. For the clone enthusiasts, Maher Legacy offers incredible value and performance. It's the smart choice if you want luxury quality without the luxury price. And if you want that Bleu de Chanel experience without the designer price tag, Iconic delivers in every way that matters. Look, blue fragrances aren't going anywhere. They've become the foundation of modern masculinity in scent. And for good reason. They're fresh, they're approachable, and when done right, they're absolutely magnetic. But here's what I want you to remember. Price doesn't always equal quality, and hype doesn't always equal performance. Some of the best blue fragrances I've shown you today cost less than a nice dinner, while others require a serious investment. The key is knowing what you want and being honest about your lifestyle and budget. Which of these fragrances caught your attention? Are you team niche luxury or team clone value? Drop a comment below and let me know. I read every single one, and your feedback helps me decide what to review next. If this video helped you navigate the blue fragrance maze, smash that like button and subscribe for more honest fragrance reviews. Hit the notification bell because I drop new content every week. And trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. And I've got links to all these fragrances in the description below. And yes, they're all from legitimate retailers at the prices I mentioned. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. Until next time, smell and feel good. Stay fragrant.